Welcome to Chandler in Focus. I'm Council Member Kevin Hartke, and today I have two very special guests. They're going to talk to us about services and programs available to senior citizens in our community. Now, first of all, senior citizens really don't like being called senior citizens. So before I introduce you, what would each of you call those who have a few more years?
I call them our neighbors.
Very good.
Right, active adults.
Active adults. I like both of them. So our first guest is Anne Marie MacArthur, who is the Chief Executive Officer of About Care. Anne and I have been around each other for many, many years, and I really appreciate the ministry and work of About Care. Nancy Jackson is a recreational coordinator for the Chandler Senior Center. And Nancy is beloved by all who enter the Senior Center. She has a special smile and a greeting for everyone that goes there, and really makes a facility and a program into a family. So I do want to welcome both of you to our program today. Well, with the holidays approaching, we often focus on children, buying gifts, creating special memories and things like that, but there's a significant portion of our population who tends to be forgotten, especially at this time of year. So today we want to bring awareness to those who have special needs, or that we can have special opportunities to get involved in their lives, to show them how special they are. So we're going to discuss services for active adults, for our neighbors this morning. We're glad to have this opportunity to do so. So first of all, why don't we start with introductions. Anne Marie, tell us about yourself.
I have worked for the state of Arizona for over 20 years, and after I retired, I wanted to give back to the community. So I ran the Mental Health Association for a number of years. And then the job opened up at About Care. I've lived in Chandler for 35 years, over 35 years. And so I just love living in Chandler. I wanted to help the citizens of Chandler, so I got the About Care job. And About Care is a wonderful organization that serves the elderly and disabled in Chandler, Gilbert, and Queen Creek. But primarily in Chandler is the majority of our clients and the majority of our volunteers. 82% of our clients are low-income elderly women. They've moved here from somewhere else. Their spouse dies and they have no support system. So we help them meet their basic needs, reduce isolation, and get them to the senior center or other appointments, such as medical appointments. That's primarily our transportation program.
Anne Marie, how long have you been with About Care?
10 years this month, actually.
Well, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
I've had the privilege of working with Eric and several others who have served with About Care, and I really deeply do appreciate the work that you do, especially along our southern border in Chandler, where we have many retirees, active adults who love to continue to engage. And I know we'll probably talk a little bit later about what a great volunteer resource they are as well. So what is the mission of About Care?
The mission of About Care is to deliver support services to the homebound, to let them remain independent in their own homes as long as possible, meet their basic needs, maintain and prevent health problems. We actually have a very super program that Dignity Health fosters and pays for it, that when people get discharged from the hospital, we give them a 4-week care plan to help reduce readmissions. And in the 3 years that we've had this program, we've had 0 readmissions, because we have a nurse go out, do an assessment, create this plan. At the end of the 4 weeks, we reevaluate the plan. And it's wonderful, because, if you're living alone, how are you going to get your food? How are you going to get your medicine? How are you going to get to physical therapy, chemo, whatever? So we have the volunteers, our angels, and they all jump in and help out. So
it sounds like a great partnership. I know from Dignity Health's end, it probably saves on services and their bottom line, but also gives people a better sense of well-being and being able to live in their home rather than live at the edge of crises. So it's phenomenal.
And part of their mission is to help vulnerable populations, and these are vulnerable people.
And how many years has About Care been in existence?
12.
12 years. So you've been with it most of its existence.
Yeah, very fortunate. I have the best job in the world.
I won't disagree.
I may disagree, but that's okay.
I do kind of like my job and my new job, but we can pick that up at another time. So you've already covered the type of assistance, and can you share a story with us about how this has been particularly relevant or meaningful to someone?
Well, one of my favorite stories is this woman called us 5 years ago, and she had 8 cats, and she was so nervous about these cats. She was convinced she was going to die within the month, and she had a plan for the cats, and we were going to be part of that plan. So we had her call every Tuesday to make sure she was still okay and that the plan was in place. One day she didn't call, so we rushed over to her house, but she goes, oh, I just forgot, She's still alive and well, and she calls every Tuesday at 9:00. So it's just having that support system, And we've actually driven her places as well, but she's 93, and she thought she was going to die 5 years ago. So just knowing someone's there helps their health and well-being.
All right, I have to ask, what was the plan, or what is the plan for the
The plan was
cats?
to call the fire department. They were in on the plan. So that was the plan. It wasn't a really intricate plan, but it just gave her ease of mind for her cats.
Okay, so it wasn't just a plan for the cats, it was a plan for her of what was going to happen. Okay, so you had me wondering, was there an elaborate endowment that if someone would pick up a cat, they would be covered for life in the life
And I
of the
think
cat?
it would involve calling a nephew in another state, things like that, but it wasn't very intricate. But she's
Okay.
still alive, and she's very fun to talk to. So
Well, my mind went much more intricately than this plan accident actually is, but
I
it sounds like a fun
apologize.
one.
I'll come up with a better story.
And Nancy, tell us about what you do with our senior center and what programs and services do you offer?
Yeah, so we offer a variety of programs. We offer classes and excursions for those who are active, who want to participate in a Tai Chi class, line dancing, a watercoloring. And we also offer excursions for those who like to get out and about but don't want to necessarily do the driving. So we'll go to Diamondback games. In fact, this holiday season, we're going to see the Nutcracker. So we offer trips and excursions, and we offer classes. We also offer a lot of drop-in programs for those who want to come to the senior center to engage and socially with their peers. They want to play some cards. They want to play some board games. We have Friday movies. Stuff like that are for those who are maybe less able-bodied and able to get out in the community, but they still need to get out of their home. So we provide drop-in programs for those participants as well.
So it sounds like a very wide spectrum of programming available to those who are extremely active and to those who wish they were more active or are not able to be as active as they once were.
Correct. I think the trend is to really relook at what the definition is for a senior, and not to group somebody who is 55 into the same group as somebody who may be 90 or 85, to really try to program for all ages and really break down that age group even to like a 10-year increment, so that we are making sure that we're fitting the needs of all ages of seniors. We wouldn't program for youth 18 and under the same. So we kind of have adopted that philosophy with our seniors as well.
There's a bit of a debate about who is a senior citizen, isn't there? I mean, what qualifies for someone to be a senior citizen?
Age is just a number, correct?
Right.
We like to say that we offer programs for 55 and older through our senior center, but we don't really check ID. In fact, there are some that come in who are just under that age requirement, but they think that our activities are fun and they want to participate. And if we have the spots, we will definitely invite them to come along. So
It's good to know we don't card people at the senior center.
we do not card them.
So what are talk to us about these programs. What are requirements? If it's not necessarily an age requirement, what does it take for someone to get involved?
I tell them a smile, just walk through the door and start participating with our seniors. Besides the age requirement, we don't require anything. We do have a fee policy that will assess a non-resident fee to somebody that doesn't necessarily live in Chandler, but we never turn anybody away, no matter where you live or if you're in a neighboring city. We encourage everybody to come to the Chandler Senior Center.
Well, that's good. I've had the opportunity of coming to a few of your special dinners there, and it's been really fun to see how decked out people get. I always have felt underdressed, even though I'm wearing something similar to this at the events that you throw, particularly at the holidays. So tell us about what's going on in the holidays this year.
Well, we don't. We like to say that there's always a reason to have a party. So not just during the holiday season. So, but during the holiday season, we do offer our holiday dinner dance. It's an annual event. Last year, we had 175 seniors come to the community center. The dinner is sponsored by Mimi's Cafe. It's a traditional holiday dinner. And we have a live DJ that plays music, and we actually partner with our Chandler Police Department, who do a hot chocolate bar for them, as well as pictures with Santa. So it is an opportunity for them to get dressed up and kind of have a night out on the town where it's a special event for them.
So tell me a favorite story of yours. You've been doing this for how long again? And tell us
so
a
I've been
story.
with the city for over 12 years, but have truly been blessed to work with seniors for the past 8. I will probably argue with anybody about who has the best job, but to be able to come into the senior center and see the difference that you make in people's lives every single day, it's a very rewarding job. And I have a bunch of great staff who definitely are a big part of that as well. Favorite story, and unfortunately, it's kind of the same story over and over, where you have a senior who comes in who just lost their spouse, and they don't really know where to go or what to do or who to turn to, and they're lonely. And one particular senior came in and couldn't even get out why he was there. He was just so emotional about it. I invited him to come back the following week, and we were to talk then. And it took him about a month to come back. And then the next visit, he was able to tell me that his wife just passed away and he just needed someplace to go, but he doesn't know where to go or what to do. And his family told him he needed to get out of the home. And so he didn't stay for lunch that day. He did come back a couple weeks later, ate lunch, and now he comes every day to the senior center. He sits with his same group of friends every day, and he's even invited other people to come. So that's really what the Chandler Senior Center is about, is a place where they can come and be with their peers, meet friends, and develop relationships, not only with each other, but with the staff members, and have a purpose and a reason to get up and out of the house every day.
Different circles, we talk about a third space, your home, your work, but someplace where you interact with people. And for some, it's a church. For some, it's maybe a sports team or a bar. But really, this has become the third space where people check in, keep up with one another, and make life meaningful.
Yes. Some of them say it's not their second home, it's their first. Is how they refer to us. So we'd gladly accept that.
And we take a lot of our clients there, and it makes all the difference because they're very lonely, and it reduces isolation. There's so many nice people, and it's so friendly. So it's nice that we can drop them off, pick them up. So it's wonderful.
Well, Anne Marie, tell us about some of the programming that you have going on with the holidays approaching.
Well, we're very fortunate. We have a synagogue in Scottsdale, which is providing up to 4 Thanksgiving meals for any of our clients that want it. So they can invite a neighbor in, and they're from Whole Foods, and they always say how delicious they are because they may not have Thanksgiving dinner. So this is a wonderful program, and it's free. And then at Christmas, Intel donates a couple hundred presents, and they're all wrapped. If you saw my office, you would wonder how we get a couple hundred presents in there because it's 500 square feet. They're under our desks. They're up the walls. But then we have an open house. I mean, we have Girl Scout troops come and deliver the gifts. We have, our board members bring their kids or grandkids, and, all the volunteers get dressed up, and then they deliver all the presents because that will be the only presents most of them will get. So it's a wonderful program. It's a little exhausting, but it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, we also offer a same program at the Senior Center where it's called Adopt a Senior program, and we have been very fortunate that we are able to deliver presents to our home delivered clients through Ascend, our partnership with Ascend, and all of our seniors who are being sponsored are by city employees. So the city of Chandler is just amazing in their support of our senior programs.
That is amazing. That's very amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and with the breadth of work that you do, I'm sure that you exist a lot with with the workforce of volunteers. And one of the things I've always loved about Chandler, and I'm sure Nancy would agree, is that we are a very collaborative city, a city that likes to give back. But tell us about if someone wanted to volunteer with you, what type of work would they be doing and what type of commitment would they need to make?
Well, we kind of do things a little different. Our programs are all volunteer driven. So you can volunteer 1 hour a year or 5 hours a week. So what happens is if you want to volunteer, and Neighborhood Resources in Chandler is our biggest supporter. They get sent refer clients and volunteers to us, which is lovely. They can go on our website, they can fill out an application, they could just call. Beth, my volunteer manager, if you call asking you about volunteering, she will have you in either that day or the next day and do one-on-one training. She doesn't want you to wander anywhere else. So, and it's really good training because it's personal and it's one-on-one. But we have about 150 volunteers. What happens is we have a schedule, and a schedule goes out for like 2 weeks in advance. The volunteers just go in their computer whenever they feel the need, like if they have an opening in their schedule, they pick and choose what they'd like, and then they call the client, and then they arrange time to pick up. So it's really volunteer driven. So they can do transportation, they can just do friendly visiting, because that's a huge thing, just to go with somebody and talk to them. We have respite for caregivers. If the caregiver needs to leave the home, we'll go in there and sit with the neighbor for a while. We do reassurance phone calls. Did you take your medicine today? Or how are you doing today? If they've had a little depression slump, things like that. So the clients can pick and choose. We have some that only want to do friendly visiting. We have some that only want to do transportation. We have 4 that do the client intakes. And when we do a client intake, the volunteer goes there, meets with the client and possibly a family or friend, because they might be nervous. Most people don't want to sign up for our services, but once they get into it, it's really cool. But so they go there and they make sure it's a safe environment for the volunteer. They see how we can help the person. We want to make sure that they don't have dementia. We can't have people with dementia, or they have to be able to get in and out of a car. That's about the only 2 requirements. Can I tell a quick story about a volunteer? I
Sure.
had this volunteer, Helen. She's fabulous. She volunteers probably 40 hours a week. I mean, she's got 5 ladies she takes care of, and she does everything. The other day she called. She was in tears, and she said, "Oh, I had an accident." And I'm like, what? I'm thinking car accident. But what happened was this 93-year-old woman just got tired with her walker, sat down and fell backwards. Helen called 911. She went to the hospital with her. They found out her head was fine, everything was fine, but she had a heart condition that she had ignored. Well, Helen was there 5 days with this woman. Unfortunately, she passed, but Helen never left her side. So that's the kind of dedication some volunteers have. The other thing about Helen is she takes these women shopping in January all together and then takes them out for lunch. Just, because otherwise they wouldn't go shopping, for clothes or whatever. So that's the kind of volunteers we get.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to donate to support your efforts, how can they do that?
They can go on our website. We have a donation button. They can just donate right there. And there is the end of the year tax credit that they may want to take advantage of. It's $800 for a couple, and it comes right off your taxes. So for Arizona taxes, and $400 for an individual. So that's a good way, and it really is just to support our programs and our volunteers. Occasionally we would when volunteers like Helen go above and beyond, we'll send them a gift card or with a thank you, things like that, because there was no reason that she had to spend 5 total days with this woman, but she was there for her when she passed. So that would be what the donations would support, maybe a thank you to a volunteer, or if we find a client needs a gift card or a food card, then we would send that. So that's where those donations would go.
Okay. Well, Nancy, let's talk about your volunteers. I imagine, again, because the breadth of services that you offer, you have quite a few volunteers. So talk to us about volunteering at the Active Adult Center.
Yes, we do. We have quite a few who volunteer with us, actually over 100 different individuals that volunteer. Again, it's the same thing, whether it's 5 hours versus, some will get up into hundreds of hours of volunteerism. And so We have a volunteer coordinator. To be a volunteer at the senior center, you just have to fill out a volunteer application through the city of Chandler, and that can be on our website, or if you just call the senior center, we can get that to you as well. We actually appreciate our volunteers just as much as Anne Marie does. We have an annual volunteer appreciation brunch that we just had last weekend, in which we invite them, we serve them for the day, and we had 85 volunteers come for that volunteer brunch. And so it's our way to also give back to them for everything that they do.
Oh, that's outstanding. So how can residents find out more information about the Active Adult Center, Senior Center, and programs that you offer?
You know what? Social media is a great place. We do have a City of Chandler Recreation Facebook page, as well as a Facebook page for the Chandler Senior Center. All of our information is in our Break Time magazine as well. But the best place to learn about the Senior Center is to come to the Senior Center. We love to have new seniors come. We usually ask them to check in at the front desk, or they find one of our greeters, because we have a greeter program. We take them around. We introduce them to all the programs at the Senior Center, kind of give them a private tour of what we do. And that's the best way. We encourage everybody just to drop on in and visit with us one-on-one.
And that's great. So, are there any special messages that either of you would like to leave about our elderly or volunteering with them in our community?
Well, I
Anne-Marie.
would think that if you had somebody special in your life when you were young, what if they were alone now? What if they had no one? Think about that. Or maybe you want to start volunteering with your child to show them how to give back to the community, and maybe adopt a grandmother or a grandfather. On our brochure, we have a picture of this woman that I just love. She needed a grandmother for her kids. So they took this woman grocery shopping every week. The kids went along, and they ended up becoming family. So she would come for the holidays and things like that. But volunteering is very important. I mean, you need to give back to your community. We live in such a wonderful community. You will get far more out of it than you give.
Very good. How about you, Nancy?
Yeah, just the same thing. It's I just encourage people to take the time, especially during the holiday season, to give back to their community, volunteer through the organizations such as About Care or the Chandler Senior Center. It's really important at the Senior Center that we do cross-generation volunteerism, and so the seniors love to have the youth come and play an instrument or just sit down and play cards with them and learn a new game. And so that interaction with our youth and our community is so very important to our seniors. So we just encourage them to, whether it's at the Chandler Senior Center or not, just to get involved and give back.
Well, I want to thank both of you for what you do, not just professionally because it's your job, but because it's you. And you really make the job, and you're the ones that make a difference in inspiring so many others in our community to give and to care. And at this time of year, it's especially important. As both of you have mentioned, there are many of our residents, our neighbors, that perhaps don't have family or are more nostalgic about and looking at waning years rather than looking forward. So it's very important. And I think that we can all do our part to make life significant and continually memorable for so many. Well, I want to thank both of you
Thank you.
for coming today. It's been a pleasure to talk, to hear more about what you do. I'm Council Member Kevin Hartke, and I wish you all a blessed and wonderful holiday season.